are off. If you are talking, I'm noting it, and you are losing points. Shay, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Second trimester at the university. I said my trimester was like a competitive game. You play to win, but you're faced with never-ending struggles. The reason we did the Where's My Story project. The Where's My Story project is to make culturally relevant books to our first grade partners. It was important because there aren't many culturally relevant books. So by making these books, we're giving first graders a piece of their culture and their favorite things in a book for us to read to our partner and for their class to keep. The first step we took for this project was the class went to the library and searched for books that we were culturally relevant to us, and we had to review the book we chose using the culturally relevant rubric. The book we had to earn have a top score of at least 4 or 5 in the categories for it to be culturally relevant to us. Then we read it to our first grade partners. The second step was for us to get with a group of 3 people and start making a presentation on the unrepresented group when it comes to books and present it with our partners. My partners and I studied poverty. The third step was to develop our main character in the story we were going to read. The fourth step was to make a storyboard / rough draft of our stories. The last step we took was to make a final draft in Pixton so Ms. Clark could print it so we could read to our partners. Something in the project that I struggled on was finding my own culturally relevant book. The feedback I got for the struggle was the librarians tell me about a book that was culturally relevant to me in some ways, and it was a book for 3rd and 4th graders that was called Our Gracie Aunt. What I learned from this moment is how hard it is to find a culturally relevant book. The best moment in this project was when I finally finished my book. What made this my favorite moment was because this is the first book I've ever completed, and I'm happy that I finally finished it. I learned that completing a book that you work hard on is very satisfying. The purpose of this assignment was to learn about electricity and how to safely use equipment and learn how to build a lamp. The first step we took is we wrote down notes on electricity. We had to study them and then take a quiz on different ways of electricity circuits, like the parallel circuit, simple circuit, series circuit, and short circuit. The second step we took was to make a circuit with a switch and a light bulb. The third step we took was to make our lamp design by going to IKEA and getting ideas, and presenting our idea with who we made it for and the items we're using for our lamp. The fourth step was to make a life-size prototype of how we want our lamps to look out of cardboard. The fifth step was to make our pieces in Tinkercad and get them cut out using a laser cutter. The sixth step was to make our actual lamp. My most challenging moment in this project was trying to find a way to make my lamp's shade stand so it isn't bouncing on a light bulb and burning. The feedback I got was to find some way to make the lamp shade hover over the light bulb by using acrylic. I learned one way to make my shade hover over the light bulb, so is to make a stick out of acrylic so it's long enough to hold the shade above the light bulb. My best moment in this project was when I finished my lamp. This is my best moment because I got to personalize my own lamp and see it light up. This part made this my best moment by letting me stay after school so I could finish my lamp. I learned that hard work can get you results that you want, and I also learned how to make and wire lamps. We did a teen brain project so we can learn more about how our teenage brains work. It's important because it helps us better understand why we teenagers do what we do and how control or change what we do, like taking more risks. The step we took in the Teenage Brain Project was first we did being a teenager assignment for the pros and cons of being a teenager. The second step we did was we learned about 3 parts of our brain. The thinking part, which is the biggest part of out of all the parts. Out of all the parts of our brain. The survival part and the emotional part of the brain. The third thing we did was we talked about what happens when we flip our lid and how we have to fight, flight, or freeze response. The fourth thing we did was self-care plan. To have beads to remind us of something to do when we're feeling stressed and we need to calm down and put it back in the green zone. The most challenging moment in the Teenage Brain Project was not making that same because I was talking to my friends. The feedback I got was either move to another seat or stop talking. So I chose to stop talking and just ignore my friends so they could stop talking and we could all focus on our work. My best moment in this project was doing self-care plan. My best moment in this project was doing the self-care plan. What made this my best moment was me making something to remind me of what I can do if I'm ever feeling stressed out. So Mel helped me make this my best moment by giving me the ideas of what I can do to get me into the green zone. Some things that helped me get back into the green zone: sleep, draw, and laugh.
There you go.
The most challenging moment in math at the beginning of this trimester was dividing exponents. The feedback I got was to subtract the exponents instead of adding them. I learned how to divide numbers with exponents. If you were dividing m to the 8 over m to the second, it would be m to the minus m to the 8 minus 2. This means it equals m to the 6. The best moment in this trimester was when we got to do scientific notation. The reason was because I did it in 8th grade, so it was easy. It was an easy assignment to get into, and I had some of my friends to help me or get help from, so it made it easier. What I freshened up on is how to do scientific notation and the rules that if ordinary notation and the exponent is negative, and the decimal would be moved right, but if it was a positive, it would be moved left. The advice I would give myself for next trimester is to study hard. Hard every day so that I'll never be behind. This trimester, I didn't study for maths, and when I look at my grades, it's my lowest grade. My most challenging moment in English seminar was the first Socratic seminar, which was an assignment where we read short stories as a class, and we wrote notes using 3 lenses: Marxist, which is where is the ladder, who's at the top of the ladder, whoever has more power, and at the bottom ladder is the least power. The gender lens, where if we see the story where showing a girl and cute, and men are big and strong. And the reader response lens, where we compare our own experiences with the book. The feedback I got was to just ask one question and get credit, instead of just sitting there and doing nothing. My best moment in the seminar was the no rating assignment on independent clauses. This was my best moment because it was fun and because it helped me with making books, because I want to make at least 2 or 3 books in the 3rd trimester on my own free time. During the first Socratic seminar, I asked the question, why does Danny have to die, and when he and Tigo were just becoming friends. The advice I would give myself is to focus more and talk less with my friends so I can learn more about correct spelling and punctuation. The most challenging moment in my auto tech class was chapter 9, a pre-test assignment about ratchets, sockets, extensions, hammers, mullets, pliers, mirrors, punches, and chisels. The feedback I got was to help me was to reread chapter 9 and take notes, study them at home. One thing I learned is study before a test helps me. It helps me in not studying and make it overcomplicated. My best moment in this seminar was the fastener project. What made this my best moment was because it was fun to drill my own hole and make a thread for the first time. What I learned is threads are those ones right there. My classmate Chris helped me use the tap, and Kylo helped me spray the pre-engineering oil to prevent it from overheating and smoking. I learned how to make a thread. One piece of advice is to always have someone helping you in the shop to stay safe. Collaboration is one of the skills I improved on all my classes by helping my classmates and asking for help from my classmates. One workshop skill I need to work on next trimester is managing projects because I don't turn in some of my assignments.
Did you want to play that video? Was that video there to play? Did you want to press play on that video? I noticed that it said play. Try the middle. Okay, perfect.
These numbers from absences and latenesses show me that I've never missed a day of school or been late. I'm happy with these numbers because it means I haven't missed any school days this trimester. Sometimes I was close to being late, but I always made it on time. What I can do to improve and ensure I'm always on time is by going to sleep earlier and waking up earlier so I don't run the risk of being late. How we have grown positively as an advisor is collaboration. What led this growth is different challenges. One challenge, for example, is the challenge from Ms. Gardner. Which class could decorate the door the best? My role in the advisors community is maturity. How I bring maturity is by doing my work even when there's no teachers in the room. My work goal was to be a book writer and artist, which I've changed from the last trimester. My personal goal is to be a coder and game maker. My community goal is to make friends and help clean my community. For my work goal, I'm working on a comic book at home and sometimes in school. For my personal goal, I've been using Scratch, which is a coding website. For my community goal, I've been making new friends in English class. My work goal, I want to make at least 2 books before the end of the school year. For my personal goal, I will revisit Scratch and look for more coding sites. For my community goal, I could volunteer to sweep the class. Ms. Clark helped this to be a successful trimester by letting me stay after school to finish my work, the work that I was behind me. Mr. D helped me with my lampshade, give me an idea for using a acrylic stick to make it hover over the lamp.
You all, from this point on, from now until the end of your time here at workshop, maybe even 20 years later when you come back after graduation and have your reunion, you get to now compare where people are to where they were the first exhibition. So can you think of ways that Elijah has grown since the first exhibition? Raise your hand if you have one, yeah. And then you can call people.
Sorry. lot of detail. He wasn't nervous this time.
Yep.
This trimester, he was a lot more focused than the last trimester.
I saw a lot more confidence in this exhibition than your first exhibition. You may have been nervous, but it did not come across in the same way as your first exhibition. And I noticed that there was one moment I think you might have been feeling a little stuck. Maybe something wasn't exactly as you thought it was going to be. And you took a moment and you breathed. So I feel like not only did you teach us about your safety plan, but you actually were using it in the very moment. You were like, breathe, everything's okay, and then you did beautifully. Do we have any grows for Elijah? Something that you would like to see him do by the last exhibition of the year? Okay, so keep your head up.
Complete all his goals.
Complete all his goals. You're not going to like this. I would like to see you pull your hood off by the last one. I know that it was required to get through this one. By the last one. Even if it's for the last minute, maybe even just for questions and feedback. I'd like to see your hood down. Okay, that's my goal for you. You can't take it away from me because it's my goal for you. Visitors, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I have something that I've seen improved with Elijah. I just noticed as his English teacher, but also being here during the Teenage Brain Project, that I think Elijah has been pushing himself to participate more in class, which has been awesome. I've hardly heard his voice at all in the first trimester, and I've been hearing it a lot more in this past trimester, and it's been great because you always have really, really great comments to make and really excellent questions. So I think you bring a lot to the community when you speak up. So it doesn't just help you and your grade, but it actually helps everybody.
Could someone, thinking about how we grade our reflections every day, what kind of grade do you think he would get on this?
A very outstanding.
And can you tell us why?
Is it not a 95 or 100?
Why? Yeah, why? And we don't give that out very often. I don't know if you have it, so why?
He went overboard with his explaining on every slide. Yeah, that's it.
Rachel? Okay. Yep. There. Okay.
Can I ask one question? So it was an excellent presentation. You should be really proud of yourself. If you could do it again, what's one thing you might do differently to improve it?
Instead of just staring down at the paper, just look at the problem I'm talking about.
So there's another goal for you for next time. You did great.
We have one more. Sorry, I know some of you can't see this.
You made me write my stuff in the wrong because you skipped some slides.
Is it my fault? Calvin pointed out that I forgot to change some of the boxes. Is it possibly that it's my fault?
Well, I apologize.
Yeah. So I will make those changes, and I will have that ready for Yasar. I apologize for that, for those of you, for one